Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, today I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because we are playing Carmageddon, but I'm not playing the 90s original version of the game, which was a DOS and Windows classic. I am playing a PC port based upon a decompilation of Carmageddon because decomps, recomps, and PC ports are all the rage these days, and it isn't just happening for stuff like console games like the N64, PlayStation 2, or Xbox 360. Developers out there are basically decompiling PC games as well. So this is a native Windows application that you can play today that is just going to run perfectly fine versus trying to get the old legacy versions of the game to actually boot. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, you got a Patreon link down below as well. And just so you know, you can run this in Voodoo emulation as well, but the original crunchy software renderer that I used to play back in the day is my preferred way to play Carmageddon. I just think it looks great, and it's going to do the exact same thing it did back in the 90s. If you actually take those ramps at full speed, you're going to get completely stuck on them. This was basically Grand Theft Auto before Grand Theft Auto existed. If all you could do in Grand Theft Auto is stay in the car, never get out. It's something like Twisted Metal before that game existed as well. And when this came out, obviously it was slightly controversial just for the fact that you could run things over in the game. But now today in 2025, no one would ever bat an eyelash at that. But if you were playing PC games back in the 90s, odds are you definitely encountered Carmageddon. I feel like absolutely everyone had a copy of this game, and now that it's getting decomped and ported to PC, you're going to see a lot more movement on it. There's a ton of different options in the INI file. You can basically make Carmageddon whatever you want it to be. But the number one best part is you're no longer going to have to fight it to actually run. Because the last time I tried to get Carmageddon running on my Windows 10 PC, even with DOSBox, I absolutely just failed at it. It might run, but it would crash very quickly. Now with this new decomped and PC ported version of the game, which just so you know is at 0.9 status as far as the version, not complete yet, but still 100% playable, all you need to do is double click the executable with the Carmageddon files in the folder and it just works. And I think that really is part of the decomp and recomp and PC port process that we don't talk about as much. Yes, enhancements can and will come into this thing. Tons of mods. You're going to basically be able to do whatever you want in the future. But the reality is, unlike console games, these decomps allow these games just to run flawlessly because no one really wants to spend 2 hours trying to get a game running on their modern PC just to maybe play half an hour of it or so, because I don't really think Carmageddon you're going to sit down and play for 3-4 hours. But now with this PC port, all you need to do is put the files from the original version of Carmageddon in the folder with the actual port files, double click the new executable Death Rays, everything loads up and everything just works. And that is a fundamentally huge shift compared to my previous experience, because even if you do collect vintage PCs or use something like the Llama ITX, which I demoed in videos in the past, actually getting games to run there can still be a challenge as well, because back in the day when you bought a new game, you basically hoped to hell you'd get it running when you got home. Installers were not self-explanatory, a lot of drivers had issues, and sometimes you would just find that even though everything was set correctly, the damn game wouldn't run on your PC. But now getting the game decomped and ported over to a modern Windows installation is going to be huge for its future proofing, because now I feel like Microsoft really does focus on that backwards compatibility. So hopefully in 10 years when we're on Windows, whatever the hell they want to call it, Windows 69 probably, something like this would still run without any compatibility layers included, as far as actually having to select that compatibility version in the properties. But the best part is it is just Carmageddon, and that means it's fun as hell. And because obviously we have a PC that's way over the spec that you would need back in the day to run the game, you're going to have full speed here, because that's the other thing. This game was relatively intensive, so if you don't have the right vintage PC in your collection, you might be able to run it, but you might not get that good of a frame rate out of it. And again, like I said, you can run this in Voodoo mode, getting in that 3D acceleration, but I do love the software renderer because we had 3D just based on processors before you had stuff like actual 3D accelerators and then GPUs, because a 3D accelerator, if you're not aware, is not the same thing as a GPU. Yes, they both output an image, but 3D accelerators are always worked in conjunction with a 2D card on your PC, where now your video card does absolutely everything all at once. And I would say this game has some great audio as well, and it sounds really good coming over onto the Windows 10 port of the game. So go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, but I'll come back, show you more Carmageddon footage, talk about the porting process, and tell you what else could be done with the game and with PC games in the future. But enjoy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Checkpoint!
mean, it sounds like Carmageddon to me, and the reason I'm talking about this now is as of 4 days ago when I recorded this audio, this is when the most recent version came out and added in more audio into the game, because this is not a finalized version of Death Race, which is what they're calling the port. This is 0.9, so there's definitely still some improvements on the way, but I just love the fact that people are doing stuff like this now, because think about the hundreds upon hundreds of retro DOS and Windows PC games that are out there, the Windows 3.1 stuff, the Windows 95 stuff, the DOS stuff, that can still be tricky. Sure, we have DOSBox, and yes, there are emulators for those Windows 95 era PCs, but those are always going to be an abstraction layer between you and running the software, and not everything is going to work perfectly fine. It is not a knock against those emulators. I think they are incredible, but the easiest thing to do to get a game running is just to run the native executable. So when you do something like reverse engineer Carmageddon to bring it over to a modern operating system, you're just basically playing this game like it came out today, even if it looks like it came out in the 90s, which it absolutely did. So get excited for the concept of this. Sure, it is a one-off game, but this is something that I think would really benefit video games and retro gaming in general moving forward, is decomps and PC ports of vintage PC games, because they are absolutely the hard mode of trying to get things to run. I know that I absolutely just destroyed my engine here and I'm puttering along. If you have a vintage PC game, trying to get it to run on a modern operating system can be a pain in the ass. Trying to even get it to run on legacy hardware, if you collect it, can be an even bigger pain in the ass. But it's something like a console. If you want to play a bunch of Super Nintendo games, you can just buy a Super Nintendo and a flash cart and be done with it. You can buy a Mr. FPGA and be done with it, or you can use a software emulator and, shockingly, be done with it. Versus trying to collect retro PCs, you could have 3, 4, or even 5 of them in your closet like I do, and find out that when you're trying to run one specific game, you still can't find a damn computer in your closet that'll run it for shit. I've definitely spent 3-4 hours trying to get a game to run without being successful whatsoever, and then I have to walk away because all the time I had to game that day has been eaten up by troubleshooting, and I still didn't get to play the title in the first place. So I want to see a lot more of these decomps and PC ports, and the good thing is it's not like it's that different compared to the DOS era to our current era. Yes, computers have gotten a lot better, yes, graphics cards have changed, yes, processors have gotten more powerful, but as far as the instruction sets are concerned, there are still legacy instruction sets in your modern chips that are going to handle stuff like this. And with better sound cards, you get better sound improvements as well. So we're soundtrack sample 2 right now. Go ahead and listen just for 35 seconds and I'll be right back.
Goddamn mother. Oh shit!
Kept the music off there so you could hear the sound effects, as they do sound better than even I remember. But this again is just something that I am super excited about, and if you love Carmageddon, you might be too. So the link to the build is down for the GitHub in the description below. And I just want to see more of this, because just recently, maybe last year, I decided I wanted to play the original Half-Life, but I wanted to play the release version, not a source port or anything like that. I didn't want the modern version on Steam, so I took my big box version off the shelf, which was the version that shipped basically 1.0. And let me tell you, holy fuck was that hard to get running on Windows 10. I think I spent more time actually getting the thing completely running stably than I did playing it, because after an hour of playing I decided I actually didn't want to play Half-Life. It seemed like a good idea, but I got pretty bored pretty quickly. So stuff like this would just be incredible moving forward for the retro PC community. So leave me a comment down below and you tell me if you could snap your fingers right now and make one game run and have a port to a modern platform that's a little tricky to play today, which one would it be? For me, it's 100% my big box version of Grim Fandango. I've owned that thing for almost 20 years now, and I'd love to play it on a modern system without having to deal with all of the hitching and freezing and other issues it presents. Sure, it got remastered for PC and PlayStation 4, but I love that original release. It is still my preferred, and I'd love to be able to play it easier. But as far as retro gaming decomps are concerned, Carmageddon is here. You can play it today, and I think you should. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.